23 stab wounds. That is how the most powerful man on Earth died. On a marble floor, surrounded by men he called friends, choking on his own blood, while senators scrambled over each other to drive their daggers deeper. This is not a myth. This is not legend.
Oh my God, look at
This happened, and it changed the world forever. The year is 44 BC. Rome is the center of the universe, and Julius Caesar is the center of Rome. He has conquered Gaul, slaughtered over 1 million warriors, crossed the Rubicon with his legions when every law forbade it, defeated his greatest rival, Pompey, and made himself dictator perpetuo, dictator for life. The streets of Rome shake when his name is spoken. Kings kneel, generals weep, and the Senate smiles and sharpens their blades in secret. Caesar walks through Rome like a force of nature. His sandals strike the cobblestones with the rhythm of absolute certainty. He smells of leather and iron and laurel leaves. The crowd parts before him like water before the prow of a warship. He is 55 years old, lean and sharp-eyed, and he believes, truly believes, that no one would dare touch him. That belief will cost him everything. Now imagine living in a city where power is not just a word, it is a smell. It is the iron tang of blood on a hot afternoon. It is the roar of 60,000 voices inside the Colosseum. It is the sight of conquered kings dragged through the Forum in chains. Rome in 44 BC is a city drunk on its own greatness and terrified of losing it. The senators who plot against Caesar are not monsters. They are frightened men. Men like Gaius Cassius Longinus, a sharp-featured general with cold eyes and colder ambitions, who watches Caesar accept divine honors and feels his stomach turn. And Marcus Junius Brutus, Caesar's closest friend, a man Caesar trusted more than his own legions. Brutus is the knife Caesar never saw coming. Cassius approaches Brutus in the shadow of a portico, his voice barely above a whisper. He says Rome was not built to kneel to one man. Brutus does not answer immediately. He stares at the sky. The wind moves through the cypress trees. And then, slowly, he nods. The conspiracy grows like a cancer in the dark. 23 men, senators, generals, men of old Roman families who believe they are saving the republic. They call themselves the Liberators, the Liberators. They meet in private homes, whispering behind closed doors, hiding daggers beneath their togas, practicing the angle of the thrust. They choose the date carefully. The Ides of March, March 15th. A Senate meeting has been called at the Theater of Pompeii. Caesar will be there. He will be alone. The morning of the Ides of March dawns cold and gray. Caesar's wife, Calpurnia, wakes from a nightmare screaming his name. She grabs his arm. She begs him not to go. She has dreamed of blood on the Senate floor.
All proceeds
Caesar
fund the plague
almost
response.
listens. He almost
Who
stays
offers
home.
20,000
But one
for
of
the
the
gilded
conspirators,
Hercules.
Decimus Brutus, a man Caesar loves like a son, arrives at his door with a smile and a gentle laugh. He says great Caesar cannot let nightmares rule Rome. Caesar straightens his toga. He picks up his laurel crown. He walks out the door, and he never comes back. The Theater of Pompeii is enormous. Its marble corridors echo with footsteps and murmured conversation. The senators take their positions. Caesar enters, and the room shifts. Eyes move, hands tighten beneath togas.
Mouths go dry. A senator named Julius Caesar approaches Caesar first, pretending to beg for his brother's pardon. Caesar refuses, slightly irritated. Then Caesar grabs Caesar's toga and pulls it from his shoulder. That is the signal. Casca strikes first. His dagger rakes across Caesar's neck. Caesar gasps and grabs the blade with his bare hand. He looks at Casca and says, "Are you mad?" And then they are all on him. 23 men surging forward like a wave, daggers rising and falling, the sound of iron on flesh. Caesar fights back. He spins. He stabs at them with his stylus.
He is bleeding from a dozen wounds. The senators are stabbing each other in the frenzy. And then Caesar sees Brutus. His Brutus, stepping forward with a blade in his hand. Caesar stops fighting. His face goes still. He pulls his toga up over his head, as if he simply does not want to see what comes next. He falls at the base of a statue of Pompey, his old enemy, and the blood spreads across the white marble in a dark, widening pool. The conspirators stand there, breathing hard, daggers dripping, staring at what they have done. And then the screaming begins. The senators flee. The crowds outside panic. The streets of Rome erupt in chaos. Because the liberatores have made one catastrophic mistake. They have killed the man, but they have not killed the idea of Caesar. 3 days later, Caesar's body is carried into the Forum. His loyal general Mark Antony stands before the crowd and reads Caesar's will aloud. Caesar has left money to every single citizen of Rome. The crowd goes silent, and then it goes savage. They burn the Senate House to the ground with their bare hands. They hunt the conspirators through the streets. Brutus and Cassius flee Rome with their lives and nothing else. Within 3 years, both men will be dead, on battlefields soaked in Roman blood, knowing that everything they tried to save has been destroyed by the act of saving it. Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, will rise from the ashes of the Republic and become Augustus, the first true emperor of Rome. The Republic the conspirators died to protect will never breathe again. And Caesar, the man they stabbed 23 times to stop, will have his name carved into the title of every ruler Europe produces for the next 2,000 years. Kaiser, Tsar, Caesar. Here is the thought that will stay with you long after this ends. The men who killed Caesar believed they were heroes. They believed history would applaud them. They were wrong, in a way so complete, so devastating, that it echoes across every century between that marble floor and this moment right now. Power does not die with the man who holds it. Ideas do not bleed out on the Senate floor. And betrayal, no matter how many hands it takes, always creates exactly the world it was trying to prevent.